Yeah, so after high school, I started university, and at that time, actually near the end of my undergraduate degree, I saw a call for peer workshop facilitators for a group called Bad Subject, and they were doing consent workshops at the time. So this was a long time ago, but I signed up and did the trainings, and from there we became facilitators for, well, high school to middle school classes, the TDSB, not exclusively, also like after school programs for kids. We did a lot of various things in the GTHA. I think that really opened my eyes up to not just like teaching and pedagogy, but also learning with the students as well, which was pretty amazing. And something that I think was interesting was that teachers and parents who were present were often just as curious as the students were. So that was very telling. Something else that was very telling was sometimes we had to fight to get into schools to talk about just consent. Sometimes it was just the teacher's initiative. The teacher would say, we're going to bring in a guest workshop facilitator, and they are then going to do this vague, nebulous workshop that the principals don't know about, the school board doesn't know about. It was really telling and really unfortunate about what the attitudes were around sex health, sexual health, and consent. But the experience of actually being in the classrooms was quite phenomenal. Something that I noticed was, students' relationship to the topic varied from school to school, from grade to grade, depending on where you were. I think it gave us a bit of insight into what they were already learning at school, and at some spaces you could tell that they really didn't have this kind of opportunity to talk about consent or sex. So another thing I had noticed was a lot of students were a little bit worried about, are my parents going to find out that I am doing this, that I'm in this workshop? And I have this memory of these kids, I think they were maybe 14, 15, who were whispering, and they were speaking in Farsi to one another, and they were like, I don't know if I can do this, my parents are going to find out. And me overhearing them and reassuring them in Farsi, like, no, this is totally anonymous, come join, ask your questions, do what you need to do. And they were so engaged and really participated, and I feel like it doesn't matter where you're from, but students need to feel like they have a space that they can talk about this stuff without their parent. I mean, the thing is, in my own experience, it's like a lot of our parents didn't have the opportunity to have the conversations that they needed to have. And I think it's unfortunate, but like we're doing that work now, and I think it's important for like educators and instructors and workshop facilitators to really try to make that accessible to them in a way, whether it's like language barriers, like my own experience there being like, okay, you have just arrived to this new school, you've only been here for a couple months, the fact that I speak the same language as you seemed to make you feel very comfortable to join the group and join the conversation. And who knows how it informed them and their own experiences and their own ideas about the topic. But I think that it is important to try to make it accessible to them in a way. And truly, I think that the conversation around consent in particular is an important one that we need to be having even as adults. So how do educators have the sort of like tough conversations also even before they bring it to their students? Because something that I had learned going to schools and to run workshops was that a lot of the teachers or parents weren't always there, but they were not comfortable. So how do they do that work? How do we do sort of training for educators in a way before they bring them to the students? I could talk about those workshops a lot, and I'd love to sort of pick that up at some point again. I don't know, but it was definitely part of my own journey to learning more about consent and sexual health in a way that didn't just focus, like, it wasn't just centered around like a particular curriculum, and it was one that involved people of a lot of different generations, and yeah,